Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RoadToRoot.com. I feel very calm today. Very calm about what's about to happen. Because I've been talking about it for so long. This is the end of the old fiat monetary system, the beginning of something new. What is the new thing? That's the multi-zillion-dollar question. How will it be controlled? How will it be? Would it be a free market? Would we finally return to free markets? Actually, return is a tough thing to say. I think markets have always been rigged in some way or another. This just happens to be the biggest rig job in human history, with the invention of the electronic banking system by Alan Greenspan in the 1960s and 70s, and the implementation of trading programs that control every single asset on the planet today. If it's traded on an exchange, it is rigged with computers and derivatives. Yes, crypto people, that's how your cryptos are even, values are determined. Yes, there's some decentralized, but for the most part, a lot of it goes on. We heard Chris Giancarlo, the head of the CFTC, said we had to introduce Bitcoin derivatives, otherwise the price would keep going up because it's undervalued. You dumb shit. That's how free markets work. Price goes up until it's overvalued, and then it'll go down. That's how free markets are supposed to work, America. This is the foundation of America. Honest dealings, free markets. Trump is continuing the rig. That's the only thing I hated about Trump in the first term, and it's the only thing I hate about Trump in this go round. He's still rigging markets. They all are. But that's our job. But I feel calm because it is all happening. I'm positioned such that anything can happen. I have my assets in my own possession with silver and gold. Do the best to keep them in your own possession. With cryptos, have them on a hardware wallet. I do. Somebody asked me about paper wallets and how they thought, well, you give out paper wallets, but you say don't store your cryptos on paper wallets. The only reason I say don't store them on paper wallets is most people don't make paper wallets correctly. You can't make a paper wallet on the internet, by the way, on your computer or on your or print it out on your Wi-Fi based printer, which has memory, because the private keys would be exposed. The only way to make paper wallets is have a dedicated device. A long time ago, I bought a little laptop that I run the program on to print out paper wallets. I don't use a Wi-Fi printer either. I connected it with a cable to the printer. That's as close, and there's no Wi-Fi enabled anywhere. So everything, and when I'm done making paper wallets for our giveaways, I will destroy the computer and the hard drive, and the printer. Most people just print out a wallet and think it's safe. No, anywhere along the line of your computer, if it's got some kind of hidden software, all computers have little hidden software, and they're checking for crypto stuff. It's just the way it is. What do I recommend? The Ledger and Trezor, hardware devices for storing cryptos. Yes, they both work with Theta, although they don't support Theta. So you got to go to the Theta or ThetaToken.org website, and it'll walk you through how to do that. But the reality is, it is what it is. You have to protect your assets. That's why I feel calm today. I know that the real value of silver is not $31.82. I know why they put it there. Silver is the most important asset on the planet, by far more important than gold. I hope you guys understand that. At 100-to-1 gold-silver ratio, bravo to you gold bugs. Now do the smart move. Switch over, get 100 ounces of silver for your 1 ounce of gold. For various reasons. Number one, probably the most important reason is that there's just not much silver left. And silver is absolutely necessary and vital to run this high-tech world we live in and in the future. So it's important to understand how silver is priced. It's priced on something called the COMEX, which is a futures and options exchange with a physical delivery component, kind of. That's the only place it's priced. It's not priced at the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association. That's just a con rig job. They don't even call it an exchange because it isn't. You're either in the club or you're not. And then there's a Hong Kong exchange, which is starting to pick up a little prestige. But by the way, there's a great discussion that came out just recently on Kinesis Money called China's Secret Silver Pipeline, featuring Alistair McLeod. I agree with him on this point, and I'll play it for you, that China is a massive, massive player and rigger of silver, or controller of silver. Ultimately, they are the ultimate controller of silver, and here's how.
And I think there was something like, I don't know, it's something, at least a dozen silver enterprises represented there. And I went and asked them all the same question. I said, you mine silver, but you got bills to pay. How do you turn your silver into cash? And the answer was always the same. A man from Glencore would come along and he would inspect the Dore. He would give it a value. They would be paid by a major banker, who I assume was JP Morgan, and it was then shipped off to the refiner. So I said, well, do you know where it was refined? They said, well, we don't really, but we suspect China. Now, it's actually made a lot of sense, because in those days, and I think it's still true today, I mean, refining Silver Dore is not a very environmentally friendly job. And of course, this is something that China placed an emphasis on, refining gold and silver. But, it was rather like Hotel California. The silver went to China and didn't really come out. So it seemed to me that they were building stocks the whole time. And at the same time, of course, they would hedge the position through JP Morgan in the market on COMEX futures. So that kept the price down. And of course, it's not as if this sort of Silver Dore or in any form went through the market. No, it didn't. Basically, it was priced on the market price, if you like.
So yeah, that's a good explanation of what happens. But China will provide silver to the market in order to, if the price of silver blows through the riggers caps on it, China ultimately will just be just another country. China is winning this game because of the manipulation of the price of silver, which facilitates the ongoing control by the banking cabal. You lose that, China loses its position as the number one benefactor of the unbacked fiat monetary system. China went from shithole nothing country, probably one of the poorest countries on the planet, to one of the richest because of the manipulation. It was all part of the plan, the original plan from Alan Greenspan back in the day. China was, in the early 70s, was piss ass poor. It was like the most poor country. And now it's one of the richest countries. So that, bravo, Alan. You got what you want. But now how do you end the game? But you notice that Alistair talked about a company called Glencore. Who is Glencore? I've done so much research on Glencore. Go to roadrunner.com, click on search, look for Glencore. Here's an article called Glencore Metal Derivatives, Conspiracies in the Endgame. Glencore was started by a guy named Mark Rich. Some of you know who Mark Rich is. He's the number one most famous commodity trader on the planet. Wanted in every country around the world. So he lived in Switzerland. He died a while back. His company was split up. Rich and Associates, I think it was called, split up into two companies. One, Glencore, which was the public company, one of the largest miners and trading companies of all commodities on the planet. And they don't care about, if sanctions are on or anything. They're dirty as can be. And then the other company was called Trafigura. Trafigura was the private company that did all the rigging job, and they collude together to rig. I've documented this many times at Roadrunner. Go check out this article. It gives you a little peek down and read this book, Metalmen. Metalmen by A. Craig Copetillas. It's probably not his real name, Copetas. People die revealing this type of information. But it's a great account of how Mark Rich, his name used to be Mark Reich. Yes, he changed it after World War II. Became so powerful and the most wanted man on the most wanted list in America for, I think, the longest. I think he's got the record for the longest time being on the most wanted without being caught. for the United States of America. Ultimately, he was pardoned by Clinton. Remember the strong dollar policy? The strong dollar policy was all about rigging gold and silver and other commodities. So, yeah, really dark and seedy world of commodities. That's why all the bankers don't like commodities. And the smart bankers know that commodities would destroy the unbacked fiat monetary system, which we all greatly benefit from, by the way. Okay, anyway, really good stuff. Alistair, I absolutely think you're correct. And we can even see it in the, look at the exports out of China this is for January. This is from Metals Focus. Look at that. The vast majority of product that came into India, this is the India imports, the vast majority came from China. Look at that. That's massive amounts of silver. And it all came in the bar form, this yellow bar. Now, this has changed. It was the UAE for a long time because there was but that was a thing in India where they had a partnership with the UAE. You can get less tariffs. Tariffs are everywhere in India, of course. And then everything switched and they lowered the tariff, so it started coming directly from China. But yeah, everybody's in on the game. That's what you need to understand. The big guys are not on the game because they don't want the gravy train to end. The gravy train is the unbacked fiat monetary system that they are winning. So China absolutely has stockpiles and stockpiles of silver. No doubt about it. And the question is, how much will they get rid of? And then when do the good guys want to take China out? Like I said, I've said it a million times. There was a deal made between Trump and the first administration. Trump, Putin, and Xi of China. Trump said, I'll be the bad guy for 4 years. Putin, you be the bad guy for the next 4 years. Xi of China, you be the bad guy for the next 4 years. We're looking at China just increased their tariffs again, and then they said no more. So if China has all the silver, they refine all the silver. All the mined silver goes into China for refining, and the U.S. and China are ending trade relations because of the tariff war. What does that leave silver? Holy shit. So the three most important places we get silver, Mexico, Canada, and China. What if Trump blocks all three of them? That would mean COMEX, you get no silver, COMEX. You get zero silver. So, yeah, this is a choke point of the cabal. I think China is doing everything on purpose with Trump, is doing everything on purpose. They'll go in and take Taiwan. They will stop trading with the U.S. no matter what Trump says. They'll just say, okay, no more exports to the United States. That means no more silver to the United States. It is crazy. I get it. Okay, so what's the price of silver doing? Hardly anything. But as I said a couple days ago, when they slammed the price under the moving averages, I said India's loading up. Careful, this won't last long under the moving averages, and voila, we have popped up back above the moving averages. Go look at my my post from it should be like last week. I'm like, this is so obvious. The game is so obvious. They play the moving averages and they try to cover. Did they cover many? I don't know. We'll find out today. Today, the Commitment of Traders report comes out. It's Friday. It's supposed to come out every Friday after the close, usually like 5 or 6 at night on the West Coast. And we will see. But I'll tell you what it will say. And you shouldn't be able to tell what happens until it was released because we're not supposed to have inside information. But I can guarantee you the commercials covered shorts and the tech traders have gone probably not very short, but short. Have taken over the shorts. As soon as it goes under the moving averages, now it popped up, the opposite will happen. As the price gets higher, the commercials add more shorts, and the tech traders are the ones that provide the other end of that trade, which is the longs. This is, wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Same shit every day. It is illegal. They collude, but it is part of the game. And don't think for a minute that gold is not involved too. You might wonder, well, how do all these silver shorts make up for billions of dollars in losses? Gold gains. You short silver and you go long gold, and a company called Virtu Financial does all the electronic trading back and forth. They control the market anyway on the COMEX and most of the markets on the planet. A guy named Vinny Viola runs the computer programs. I always ask myself, why is Virtu Financial, used to be known as the EWT LLC, for the Elliott wave theory ridiculousness, they would just play the opposite of the Elliott wave. It has been so long since I've been dealing with this. Oh, God. But I always thought, how can they take these big losses? It's because they take gigantic gains in gold. And they'll work it out so that, hey, JP Morgan, take $1 billion hit in silver and we'll give you $1 billion in the gold market. And gold market dwarfs anything even close to silver. Gold market is massive. Silver is an afterthought. But nobody's really allowed to play in that world. Look what happened to the Hunt brothers. Look what happened to Warren Buffett. He almost went to jail in the early 2000s for his playing in silver. You don't do that to the banking cabal. You don't mess with their game because they control it 100%, 99% of the trades going back and forth to each other. That's how you get volumes like this right here. Look at that day. On April 3rd, that would be 900 million ounces of silver derivatives traded to set the price, to slam the price. April 3rd, what happened on April 3rd? Went from here down to here. It can't be more obvious for these assholes at the CFTC. The regulators are in on the con. Or they're either really stupid or they're in on the con. Did you know that one of the regulators at the actually, I think she was up for promotion. FTC.gov. One of the banking, is Rustin Benham out yet? I haven't looked at this in a while. Yes, Caroline Pham. There she is. She was, that's current commissioners. Well, where's the head? Where's Rustin Benham? No, chairman. Oh, there you go. Rustin Benham's gone. Trump must have got rid of him. But Caroline Pham, I think, or Kristen Johnson, one of these. One worked for Citibank and one worked for JP Morgan. Yes, they are all in on the game. JP Morgan puts their people in the right place. The head of the OCC, who counts the derivatives of the large banking regulator, is an ex-JP Morgan guy. It's just a gigantic con is what it is, really. And you can beat it, but there's only one way. You can't sit there and watch the price go up and down, or you will lose. Yes, we're having $1 a day. Great. They can click a mouse and put it at minus $40. They can click a mouse and put it at $1 million. Which will they do? I don't know. I don't care. At some point, it will become unobtainium. You won't be able to get an ounce. You won't be able to get an ounce of silver. When the bankers crash, you wouldn't know what to pay for it anyway, because there won't be any exchanges open. We're hitting that point that I've been talking about for, how long now? Probably 1999 is when I really got into gold and silver. 26 years ago. Oh, my God. It's not the years, it's the mileage. All right. So what's going on the COMEX? We see volumes are still high. We're at still over 500 million ounces being traded yesterday. Again, another 4 million ounces exchanged for physical. This is what's happening now. I do not expect a gigantic month in the next month's delivery. We had a gigantic month in last month's delivery of over 80 million ounces, and now things have flipped, and they're doing the exchange for physical. They're sending everything over to England again to take delivery. Harvey Organ blog does a great job. Harvey does a great job of tracking this. Look where we are in April. 64 plus the 4 is, so they're at 67.4 million ounces. 67.4 million ounces have already been sent over to London for delivery, and we're, 11 days, 10 and 11 days into the month. Triple that, you're up near 200 million ounces, close to the most ever. Close. Here's the record, 209 million ounces. We could hit the record in exchange for physical, which will be interesting. Because, look, we are only 10 days into April, and I'm adding the 4 million. It's 67.4. It's higher than March, all of March. It's higher than all of February, and it's higher than all of January. January was 67.2. But we're only 1/3 of the way done with April. So this is going to be a massive, massive month. So what does that mean? Does that mean they can't make delivery in the United States? I don't know. You're not allowed to know either. Anyway, yeah. So what do you do? How do you deal with this? Bix, why are you so calm about it? I made my bets. Place your bets and then get on the sidelines because the shit's going to hit the fan. You're not going to know what the price of silver is. You're not going to know what the price of cryptos are. You won't know the price of Bitcoin. When the banks fail, and Trump is doing everything in his power to make them fail. All this whipsawing of the stock market and the bond markets and everything, that's a derivative holder's nightmare. They chase momentum. So we literally have slushing quadrillions in derivatives going back and forth. There are dead bodies everywhere right now. But when will the big one come? I think it will be silver will pierce the heart of the cabal through JP Morgan and HSBC. HSBC and JP Morgan are the two largest riggers on the planet, and they deserve to be destroyed so that they are blamed for what we're having to go through. That's my take. But yeah, we're looking very strong. Why? Because of this. I already took it down. Because we've crossed the moving averages, right? This is what it is right here. Right here. We crossed the moving averages. The 100-day moving average was 31.38. And now it's going to run until the bankers just start capping again. It's the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. And they will start capping. Right up here. They cap. Capping means placing naked shorts on the... Yeah, are they hedging metal? Doubtful. No. These are the volumes. There's not enough metal on the planet. Like I said, if you look at the volumes for last April 3rd, they sold short over 100% of a whole year's worth of metal. So imagine the last full year of metal, and they're claiming, this the shorts are like Alistair said, the shorts are based on the China silver. Well, that means nobody used an ounce of silver last year, if that's true, because for all the shorts to be there, you'd have to have not sold a single or used a single ounce of silver for the whole year. It's not exactly how it works, but you get the idea. I mean, selling 900 million ounces of silver in a single day, how is that not illegal? It is illegal in commodity law, but we don't have any regulators. Our number one guy, Rustin Benham, left. I think I do recall talking about that. Let's find out what happened to Rustin. It's Ben. I spelled it wrong, but let's put CFCC. There it is. So this happened in January. I do recall talking. More than 7 years. This is the same guy who said we had to tamp down the silver market because it almost hit $30. Oh my God. Just stick your... Almost as bad as the head trader over at Goldman Sachs saying, the silver ETF authorized participants are the shorts. It just shocked everybody. He said on CNBC, they buy the metal to put in the ETF and they short it to hedge their position. Wait, that means they're selling it twice. It was so funny. And hardly anybody picked up on it. I'm like, how obvious can all this shit be? It's crazy. Crazy. All right, so yes, I think silver's the number one bet. I think it will go 1-to-1 or even 1-to-10 with gold ultimately when it's exposed that like China's been picking up 2,000 to 3,000 tons every year for the last 30 years, secretly behind the scenes, but everybody knows it. So what are we going to do? We've been lied to about the amount of gold. We've been lied to about the amount of silver available. I think there's a lot less silver available than what they're saying. The gold-silver ratio literally will ultimately end up, after it shakes around a little, at 1-to-1. And right now it's at 100-to-1. If you own gold, you are the luckiest man on earth or woman on earth. because you can sell it today and get 100 ounces. Well, you don't get a full 100 ounces, but you'll get, say, 90 ounces of silver. If you love gold, that's your play, because when the silver market breaks the back of the cabal, you'll be able to swap it back, and you'll end up getting 100 times the amount of gold you have right now. If what I think is going to happen will happen, 1-to-1 gold-silver ratio. We all know there's about 6 billion ounces each are the official numbers above ground. Why is gold trading at 100 times what silver's trading? Because the bankers have the gold. They don't have the silver, and they have to tamp down the price, as Rustin Benham says. But think about when bankers start to fail, what are they required to do by law? Sell all their assets. So the bankers will be dumping gold on the market. Dumping. What will it do to silver? I don't know. On the derivative market, it could go to minus $40 or plus $1 million. It's a click of a mouse. Lots of exciting things coming down the pike. So we know what to have during the crash. What do you want to have after the crash? If you're paying attention, everything's going to crypto. Everything. And decentralized crypto, most importantly, because we're not going to have faith in our congressmen. We shouldn't have faith already, or our government. All around the world, we're just going to ditch government for the most part. The United States we have a constitution with very limited government. Government should have limited government. Anyway, New York bill proposes legalization of Bitcoin, crypto for state payments. New York has been anti-crypto for the entire life of crypto. New York and Hawaii are the two worst. With New York turning, I think Hawaii will be next, because they have no choice. You're either dynamic, you go where the ship is taking you, or you're static and you stay where you are. New York, the hub of money, fiat money around the world, is now going to legalize Bitcoin. Crypto here's the funny thing: legalize Bitcoin payment for crypto, Bitcoin for state payments, and other cryptos for state payments, but pretty much illegal for anybody to own anyway. and they told all the banks to unbank any crypto people. This is the con that we're living in. It's embarrassing, but it is moving. My number one pick by far, hands down, is the Theta network of tokens. These are absolutely necessary if we're moving into a high-tech future with AI and all that, which I believe we are. The cat is out of the bag. There's no stopping it. It doesn't matter what, there's pros and cons for that. But cat is out of the bag. When nuclear power was invented, the cat was out of the bag. You can't put it back in the bag. Cryptos are here to stay. And Theta is the number one because it is so necessary in order to facilitate expansion of broadband. I heard the Democrats passed a bill with like $80 billion or something to expand broadband, and they ended up spending most of it, and no broadband was expanded. It's software download to expand broadband, have everybody share the extra capacity that you have. That's what Theta invented. It's a software download, my friends. And when is Samsung going to stand up and say, oh my God, here's a great invention? When is Sony going to do that? When is Apple going to do that? When is Microsoft going to do that? When is Google going to do that? They're going to do it at the end. That's the end game for them. They're going to say, whew. So we can't keep up with the cloud. Obviously, we can't. AI is just literally filling up every hard drive on the planet. But every new hard drive on the planet. But there's so much space available on everybody's device if we can decentrally link them all together. That's what Theta invented. Theta Labs invented that and has patents on it. And oh, by the way, on June 25th, they will be releasing that very thing, the hybrid edge cloud, right here. The first half of 2025 will be focused on launching Edge Cloud's hybrid cloud architecture in June and expanding the fast-growing Edge network in anticipation of continued demand from customers. People are saying, but Bix, the price isn't going up. That's good. You want to know what's going to be used in the future, and you want to buy it at a low price. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. Price of Theta and T-Fuel didn't go back to their all-time highs. Why? Because we can load up on a hell of a lot more. Everybody will know what Theta is in the future. I love Hitomi and Dick Allgaier both had Theta as a universal basic income when they did their remote viewing. Universal basic income, meaning that, anybody with a phone can run an edge node on their phone. Not anybody, but most phones can run an edge node. How many people have phones? In a world where money has died because of the fiat con, anything of value is going to be worth something. What a way to distribute income if everybody has an edge node on their phone, contributing to the expanding broadband, expanding the cloud, the decentralized cloud. That's what Theta has invented. And processing speed for AI. It should be a no-brainer. Anyway, I know a lot of people don't get cryptos. You can buy cryptos at Caleb & Brown. Get a broker. If you don't understand cryptos inside and out, don't even mess with it. Get a broker to buy it for you. Caleb & Brown does that. Great company. We've been working with them a long time. Go to roadtoroot.com, click on affiliates, and then if you see, we have a whole bunch of affiliates. You go down here to Caleb & Brown. There's Miles Franken, by the way, if you're looking for silver. And there's a link right there that will get you moved through their approval requirements. Yes, they're a regulated crypto broker. They have requirements for know your customer. You're gonna have to give up your stuff. If not, just go get silver at your local guy. Your local guy walking into the door, say, I don't even want my name anywhere, and use cash to buy silver. But if you want to be part of the future, and I buy T-Fuel right now. I think T-Fuel right now, I think is a 22-to-1 ratio. That will go probably less than 6-to-1 because T-Fuel is being burned every transaction. If it's going to be implemented into this massive infrastructure of AI, that's a lot of transactions. A lot of T-Fuel will be burned, and you'll see that expansion start to turn into a contraction in the amount of T-Fuel available. And right now at 22-to-1, it should be right now probably 6 or 7-to-1, but I think it'll go down to 3-to-1, 2-to-1, and then they might have to put out more T-Fuel. And how that will be distributed, probably through the miners. So yeah, if you're approving transactions, sharing your broadband, the elite edge nodes are 50,000 or 500,000 T-Fuel, and I think it's about 3 cents each now. Anyway, contact Caleb & Brown. There's a link right there in affiliates. So when you go to the company, everything's automated now, which is great. You can go in there and just sign up. And then, you're really excited about that. You should be. Speaking of exciting, I did get some more Very tokens. And we are giving those away as the free giveaway with every private road subscription. These are loaded on a paper wallet that I made on a computer and a printer that never saw the light of day on the internet. So they are secure, at least when we send them out. When you get them, I'd say put them on a hard drive. Put them on not a hard drive. Put them on a Trezor or a Ledger. I like the Ledger these days. There are a couple road bumps, shall we say. It doesn't work like the regular. You got to go to the Theta ThetaToken.org website to really get into. You click on the wallet and you go to the hardware. It offers the Ledger or the Trezor. If you're expert. If not, just stay with Caleb & Brown and say, hey, Bix said keep this for the future. Not investment advice, though. I'm just telling you what I've done. That's what I got. If you want to join the private road, go to roadtoroot.com. Click on subscribe today. It'll give you more info and get all the exciting stuff. And the Jenny Moonstone reading, by the way, was amazing yesterday. Go check that out. She talks about Trump's timeline and what behind the scenes, what's going on with all this tariffs, Theta's timing, and then when's Reggie's party time for Veritasium. Really good stuff. Bix Weir, I'll talk to you later.